Dear viewers, before this heart-touching story begins, we kindly ask you to comment below your thoughts after watching, and please don't forget to like, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to Kindness Quest. Your one small act of support helps us continue sharing real stories of compassion and courage. The morning sunlight filtered through the tall oak trees of Lincoln Park, one of the most peaceful corners of Chicago City. Joggers passed by, children laughed around the fountain, and birds fluttered freely above. Among the quiet crowd sat David Carter, a single dad and a retired Army veteran, watching his 9-year-old daughter Emma chase bubbles near the pond. David's life had never been easy. After losing his wife 3 years earlier in a car accident, he had learned to balance grief with duty, raising Emma alone while working part-time as a security officer. The uniform he wore every day reminded him of discipline and sacrifice, but his heart carried deep loneliness. Yet, he found peace in the park, a place where memories of his late wife somehow felt alive. That morning, something strange caught his attention. A silver sedan slowed down near the park's parking lot. A young girl, maybe around 12, wearing a pink backpack, looked confused while searching for her mother's car. David noticed her hesitating, stepping toward the sedan. The man inside rolled down the window and said something. The girl smiled nervously and opened the car door. Something inside, David whispered. Something isn't right. He stood up instantly. His soldier's instinct awoke, the calm but sharp awareness that once kept his platoon alive during patrols. He glanced around. There was no sign of any adult nearby calling for the girl. David started walking fast, then running. Before the car door could close, David reached the side and gently called out. "Hey sweetheart, are you sure that's your mom's car?" The man in the driver's seat stiffened, his eyes uneasy. The girl froze. Confusion flickered in her eyes. "My mom drives a car like this. She said she'd be right here," she whispered. David noticed a small sticker on the car's window, something that didn't match a typical family vehicle. He smiled softly at the girl and said, "Sweetie, maybe we should double-check. There are many cars that look the same here. Come on, I'll help you find your mom." The driver's jaw tightened. He muttered something, then slammed the gear into reverse, but David had already guided the girl a step away. The car sped off abruptly, leaving dust swirling in the air. For a moment, silence ruled the park. Then, from the other side of the street, a woman's desperate cry pierced through the noise. "Lily, my God, where's my daughter, Lily?" The woman ran toward them, tears streaming, clutching her handbag in panic. When she saw her daughter standing beside David, safe and trembling, she collapsed to her knees in relief. David held the girl's shoulder softly, letting her run into her mother's arms. The mother wept uncontrollably, whispering prayers of thanks. A crowd began to gather, murmuring in shock. Someone called the police, reporting the suspicious car. The mother looked up at David, her voice shaking. "Sir, how did you know? How did you see it?" David's eyes softened. "Ma'am, I've learned to notice fear." She hesitated. That's all it took. The police soon arrived, lights flashing. They took David's statement, promising to review the park's security footage. The officer recognized him instantly. "Aren't you Sergeant Carter from the Veterans Unit?" David nodded modestly. "Yes, sir. Just doing what anyone would." But not everyone would. The news later confirmed that similar car descriptions were linked to attempted child abductions in nearby areas. If not for David's sharp eye and steady courage, the little girl's story could have ended in tragedy. Later that evening, as the sun painted the sky in gold and pink, David sat on a park bench again, watching the ripples on the pond. His daughter Emma leaned against him, holding a cone of melting ice cream. "Dad," she said softly, "you saved someone today, didn't you?" He smiled faintly. "Maybe. But heroes don't always wear medals, kiddo. Sometimes, they just listen to their hearts." Emma smiled, her small hand wrapping around his. The park lights flickered on, and a gentle breeze carried the distant hum of traffic. Across the city, people hurried home, unaware that a quiet act of courage had just changed two families forever. But David's mind wandered to deeper places, memories of his days in service, the fear in children's eyes during missions, the promise he made to protect the innocent. Tonight, that promise had found meaning again. Days later, the mother, Sarah Bennett, visited David at his small apartment with a basket of fresh flowers and homemade pie. She hugged him tightly, tears still glimmering in her eyes. "You saved my entire world that day," she whispered. "If you ever need anything, I'll be there." David smiled humbly. "Just promise me you'll hold her close every day." Sarah nodded, her heart full of gratitude. A week passed. News channels in Chicago ran a small piece titled, "Veterans Quick Thinking Saves Child from Possible Abduction." People began recognizing David at the park. Some thanked him, others simply smiled. But David didn't seek fame. He sought peace, the quiet satisfaction that his late wife, watching from heaven, might be proud. One evening, Sarah and Lily invited David and Emma to join them for a small picnic at the same park. The children played with balloons, laughter echoing through the fading daylight. Sarah watched David carefully. "You know," she said, "when I was searching that day, I felt like the world was collapsing. I prayed to God for a miracle, and then you appeared." David looked at the setting sun. Sometimes, God answers prayers through people, not angels. We just have to listen when kindness calls. Their conversation paused as a news helicopter buzzed far above the city skyline, its shadow dancing across the park. Life moved on, but in that little corner of the city, two families were forever connected by fate. When it grew dark, David walked with Emma along the glowing path by the lake. "Dad, do you think Mom saw you save that girl?" she asked. David smiled gently. "I think she did, sweetheart. And I think she's smiling right now." The wind rustled through the leaves, carrying with it the warmth of human kindness, unseen, yet deeply felt. Weeks later, David received a letter. It was from Sarah, written in neat, graceful handwriting. "Greater than, dear David. You reminded me that bravery doesn't always roar. Sometimes, it speaks softly through compassion. Thank you for saving my daughter, and for reminding this city what humanity looks like. With eternal gratitude, Sarah and Lily." David placed the letter beside his wife's old photograph. He whispered, "Maybe I can still make this world a little safer, one act of kindness at a time." He stood up, watching Emma run ahead under the glowing streetlights. The city around them buzzed with life, cars, buses, and laughter, but David's heart found calm again, knowing that his courage had brought light to someone's darkest moment. Dear viewers, if this story touched your heart, please take a moment to comment your thoughts below, like, and share this video with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to Kindness Quest, where real stories of humanity, hope, and compassion continue to inspire the world.